Yo, dang, how fucking laggy is this shit? Anyways, yo, alright, let's start watching some stuff, boys. Dang, how fucking laggy is this shit? Anyways, yo, okay, this isn't the one I want to use though. Alright, let's start watching some stuff, boys. Dang, how fucking laggy is this shit? Anyways. Right.
About a day or so ago, I put out a video about this over on my second channel. Go subscribe over there if you haven't already. And I figured that by now, the media and other influencers and stuff would have picked up on this information. And it would be the only thing that everyone was talking about. But I was wrong. Because as I look around, I do not see many people discussing these details that I think are very important details. So I figured that I would make another video to post right here on my main channel so this info can be exposed to a wider audience since we cannot rely on the mainstream media to do their job.
Sorry, I have to put my sunglasses on because this light is really bothering me that I have right here. So, yeah, sorry.
But like I said, I think this is very important information because we have now heard from multiple people related to Lance Twiggs. There are multiple interviews out there. And if you've been watching my channels and maybe even other channels, chances are you've heard a little bit about what people related to Lance Twiggs have been saying. We know that he was kicked out of his house by his parents. His family says that he was problematic. He became hateful. He hated Christians. Started hating his own family for their values. Became strung out on drugs. We've learned all of this from people related to Lance Twiggs. Now, all of this info is alleged because, of course, it's coming from his family, but I believe the family.
Yeah, why not?
If a family member feels strongly enough that in a moment like this, they're going to come out and put out this information, I think that means that things are even worse than we know. That's what I think.
Yeah.
But we've heard all of this information. There are family members who are scared of Lance Twiggs, wouldn't even bring their kids around him anymore, didn't want to be around him anymore. They said that they thought he was dangerous, maybe capable of hurting someone. They're freaked out by Lance. Well, there's another interview with a family member that's been floating out there for a few days now. And like I said, I went into full detail in this about this interview over on my second channel. But long story short, in the interview, this family member, this person related to Lance, literally says that they think Lance radicalized Tyler. They think that once Tyler started being around Lance, Tyler started going down this radical path.
It's probably what happened.
And in many ways, it seems like this family member is kind of putting the blame more towards Lance. Like Lance is the one that they believe influenced Tyler. Now, as I just said a moment ago, a family member coming out and saying something like this about you in a moment like this, that says a whole lot. I think that says a whole lot.
It does.
To come out in a moment like this and say, hey, you know, my family member, I believe they radicalized Charlie's killer. And the family member even stated that they want everyone responsible to be taken down, to be arrested, right? They said that. And I feel like the reason they said that is because they strongly believe that there are other people responsible, including people they're related to. And I just felt like this is kind of big information. I thought that I would wake up the next day and you're going to see everyone talking about it, but that hasn't been the case. That has not been the case at all.
Nope.
Instead, everyone's reacting to like Jimmy Kimmel, and there's all this other stuff going on. And as all of this other stuff is going on, there's important information like this that's kind of flying right under the radar. And I'm doing my best to try to pick up on some of this stuff. There's a lot of distractions. You got to dig through so much stuff to get to like the stuff that actually matters. Because in the grand scheme of things, there's a lot of drama and stuff going on that ultimately is not going to really matter much. It's definitely not going to matter as much as, you know, these key details that are coming out about Tyler and Lance and their relationship and what influence Lance had over Tyler.
Like I've said plenty times before, okay, ladies and gentlemen, he was in a family of Republicans, okay? I hope this isn't too loud. He at one point was a Republican. At one point he had different beliefs. It is when he stepped out of the comfort of his home, went somewhere else without his family, without his support, and got radicalized by this man that he lived with. He fell in love with this man. And obviously, he'd do anything for him. He killed a man for him. But that goes to show that, like AOC, Shifty Shift, you know, Gavin Newsom, I don't know, all of them. All these people on the left that say that we're Nazis, that we're fascists, of course people are going to come and try to kill us. If you say stuff like that, come on. Anyways, I'm just saying, we all knew this. I already knew before any of this broke out what happened. It was very plain to see, okay?
And, you know, when you hear this from this family member, it really makes you think about those messages. It really makes you think about those weird text messages, right?
Drop what you are doing. Look under my keyboard. What? You're joking, right? I'm still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer, yet shouldn't be long until I can come home. But I gotta grab my rifle still, to be honest. I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you. You weren't the one who did it, right? I am sorry. I thought they caught the person. Yeah, well.
And it really just, that reaction from Lance, why? And the whole conversation, it's really,
Yeah,
I can't even find the.
It sounds kind of fake, and what I mean by it sounding fake is that it is like he was surprised, like his boyfriend was surprised almost, like, oh my god, you know, it's like, come on, really, you knew he was gonna do it. You guys were in this Discord with all these people. Things were said. People knew. So why are you acting surprised? Oh, God, let's keep going.
Words to describe what it is. But it just gives me a very bad feeling, especially hearing from Lance's family members, and all of them are saying, yeah, this kid went psycho freak and started hating all of us, and we were scared of him, and I think he's the one that radicalized Tyler. Now, with that being said, there's also something else that I've been meaning to point out in so many videos, and I always forget to make this point. So I want to make this point now before the end of this video. People close to Tyler have stated that, he started going down this path. He started leaning more left, getting into the gays and furry stuff and all of that. And we know that, a lot of these people on the left, not all, but a lot of them, they love their masks, right?
Mm-hmm.
They
surely do.
They love their little masks, right?
Right.
Ever since the lockdowns, ever since that nonsense that went on a few years ago, these people have still been wearing masks. They drive in their car with the mask on. They walk down the street in 90-degree weather with their mask on. They go into the swimming pool with their mask on.
I don't know if you already said it. They drive in the car with their mask on. In their car. They go home. They watch movies with their mask on. They never take it off. Ever.
Because a lot of them, I don't know what it is. I think that COVID and the lockdowns kind of broke their brain.
I'll be right back. Hold on. All right, I'm back. No, I got no more energy drink. No. Anyways, let's play this.
And they still pretend to take it very seriously for whatever reason. I think a lot of these people just find comfort in having a mask on. Recently, I know that there's pictures out there of Tyler with the mask on, and even Tyler's neighbors. They said that they thought Tyler was kind of awkward. Tyler was kind of weird. And when they were questioned why, they said because every time they see Tyler, he walks kind of weird. He's often wearing all black and he always has a mask on. This is what neighbors say about Tyler, who would see Tyler and Lance every now and then when Lance would crawl out of his cave because Lance was kind of cooped up and hidden in his apartment as he was trying to transition and taking medication and turning into Luna or whatever the hell his new name was going to be. So he would kind of hide himself from the world and he would only come out every...
Luna's actually a pretty beautiful name. I like the name... I like the name Luna, but not on him. Not on him.
Now and then. And Tyler, I think, would go back and forth, doing other things or what have you. But the neighbor said they would always see Tyler with the mask on. There's literally an interview out there. You could go watch it. I think, I can't remember what news outlet put it out, but there's an interview literally on YouTube with this neighbor. And he says that, Tyler is kind of weird, always wore a mask. So, if that's the case, right, if this is one of those weirdos that never got over COVID and is still out here wearing a mask in 2025, if that is the case, why, on the day that he goes and takes out Charlie Kirk, why that day of all days to not have a mask on? Right? If this is a guy who is known to be seen wearing a mask all the time and people just thought it was so weird, why, out of all the days to wear a mask, you don't wear a mask on that day? You don't wear a mask on that day, and you're on a college campus. I mean, I'm not sure how the politics and stuff are out there, but I mean, obviously there's some lefty loonies out there. There were people celebrating in the crowd.
That is kind of weird. I never thought about that, actually. Never thought about that. Why wasn't he wearing his mask? What's up with that? Somebody that is known to wear their mask all day, every day, and the day he goes to kill Charlie Kirk, he's not wearing a mask. That is kind of weird. That kind of sparks a little discussion, don't you think?
So I think you would probably blend in with the mask on. So I just find it weird that out of all the days Out of all the days to wear a mask, not that day. And okay, let's say he didn't want to wear a mask while he was on campus. He thought he would blend in better without one. Okay, well, you're not going to wear a mask to the Dairy Queen down the street or 15 minutes down the road when you were spotted there. And I'm not saying this means anything. I'm not even saying this is a big deal.
I am.
This is just a little observation that I've been meaning to point out for like almost a week now, and I keep forgetting to do it in every video. So yeah, I don't know. It just seems kind of weird to me. It's just a weird little detail. You know, because this neighbor that was speaking out, they had just seen Tyler not that long ago wearing a mask. It's not like they were talking about, oh yeah, he was wearing a mask in 2020. No, they were saying he was wearing a mask like a week before he killed Charlie. So if you're one of those people that still walks around and goes everywhere with the mask on, and there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of them even down in places like Florida in the dead heat of the summer. They'll be in the freaking beach with a mask on, okay? There's a lot of people still like this. So it's just kind of weird.
I live in a very hot place, right? I live in the desert. And it gets over 100 degrees over here. And so when I see people wearing masks and they're in their car and it's so hot, I'm just like, oh yeah. Yep, there's one of them.
That out of all the days, you decide, okay.
Unless they're like super, super old, you know what I mean? Or maybe they're super like scrawny and decrepit. Maybe they need to wear their mask. Maybe they've got like HIV or something. I don't know. But, you know, maybe they need to wear their mask. So maybe it's not everybody. But when you see a young, healthy person wearing their mask in the dead of summer and it's blazing hot, like, come on. Come on.
Today's the day. Today's the day that I'm not worried about anything, and I'm not going to wear a mask anywhere I go, even though I wear a mask every other day. So, I don't know. It's just a weird detail. And then, okay, if you're not going to wear the mask when you take out Charlie,
I gotta go, guys.
You're not
I'm sorry.
Wear the mask on that day. What were you wearing a mask for?
Yeah, I gotta go.
Days? Were you?
Hope everybody enjoyed the stream. Later, Gators. Later, Gators.